Hello, my Math 3 scholars. Today we're going to be learning about complex numbers. So we're starting our unit on polynomials, and we're going to start it by learning about complex numbers. In this video, we're going to focus on what a complex number is and how you would graph a complex number in a coordinate plane. So first, let's just talk about what a complex number is. Okay, so what is a complex number? A complex number is a number that can be written in this standard form here, a plus bi. Okay, it can be written in that standard form. Now, I want you to notice a few things. A and b are real numbers, and the I is the imaginary unit. Okay, now you did this in math too. We talked about imaginary numbers, and I just want to give you a little backdrop in case you've forgotten what the imaginary unit is for. A long time ago, mathematicians needed a way to do a problem like this, the square root of -4. So if I wanted to work that, I can't just say that that's equal to 2 because I wouldn't get that -4 back underneath that radical. So what they came up with was they said, okay, let's identify this imaginary unit I, and let's say that it equals the square root of -1. Well, if that's the case, I can rewrite this as the square root of -1 times the square root of 4. And then I can take the square root of 4 because I know that that is 2. And I've identified the square root of -1 as I, so I can put that I in there, and that means that the square root of -4 is equal to 2I, okay? And we eventually started doing this in math too and putting positive -2I in there because of the quadratic formula. So that's a little backdrop on why we need imaginary units. So let's figure out how we would graph the imaginary unit, okay? All right, so when you're graphing a complex number, you can use a coordinate plane, but how you're going to do this is the real axis is now what you guys are used to seeing as your x-axis. So notice that now the x-axis is your real axis part. And the y, what you're used to being the y-axis, is your imaginary axis part, okay? So if I wanted to plot the points, now remember that a is a real number and bi, this b is a real number, but the I attached to it makes this an imaginary unit, okay? So if we look over here, the x-axis represents the real part. So if I wanted to plot 2 minus 3i, okay, now your positives and negatives are still the same. Positive is this way on the real, and negative is this way for the real. And then for the imaginary part, positive is up top and negative is down here. Okay, so that didn't change. The 2, that's a positive 2 on the real number. So that means I'm going to go 1, 2 on the real number axis, and then I'm going to do a -3i. That means I'm going to go down 3 on the imaginary. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to plot that point right there, and that point is 2 minus 3i. That's what that point is, 2 minus 3i. Okay, if I wanted to plot this one, -1 plus 2i, pause the video and try it, see how you do with it, and then come back. Okay, hopefully you plotted this one, so let's see how you did. So we do the real axis part, that's our -1 here. So here's 0, I'm going to go to -1. And then plus 2i means I'm going to go up 2 on the imaginary, 1, 2. So I would have this point right here that is -1 plus 2i, okay? All right, as always, if you have questions about just initial imaginary numbers, what they are, or how to graph them, let me know.